warm welcome. Today we have with us Mr. Arvind Kumar, who is the head IT and Infosec at Genisys Group. A very warm welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us at CXOTV.
And thank you. Good morning to you as well. And thanks for onboarding me for this such a great sessions episodes that you are doing.
Thank you, sir. So before we proceed with the discussion of the industry trends and what the challenges that industries are facing in today's time, we would actually like to know how your experience has been so far, how your journey has been taken, and also your journey and experience from information technology and business process service industry, and how you got started in this field, if you can highlight that part.
Okay, my journey has started from the campus recruitment when I was studying my engineering, and then I got opportunity to work with automobile industry. Then sometimes later with QSR, some of the manufacturing industries as well. Then food preparation and dispatch, airline catering, and then into IT industry. So if you see the entire tenure is not industry specific. So my belief is that if you understand the business processes, if you are able to understand business challenges, and if you are able to translate those business challenges into technical or technological solutions, you can work in any of the industry vertical or any of the industry. Currently, I am in ITS industry vertical where you are having software development, software services, and BPO operations. So every industry does have their own different challenges. So if you understand them, translate it into solution, and incorporate it, you are good to go. My thing to achieve towards any of the business is first understand business, keep focus on business challenges, and then provide the solution to them. So that was the key mantra, you can say so, or the success factor that I have with me to come or to become from automobile industry to the ITS company.
In this rapidly evolving IT landscape, what are the key challenges you see that IT infrastructure is in terms of be up to date and secure? And what strategies do you suggest to foster innovation within the IT department while maintaining a strong security posture?
So it is a good question, but it is ongoing challenges for everybody as well, because we see that technology is getting changed very rapidly and very fast rate. If you see past 1 decade or 10 years, we used to think about the Pentium processors kind of a thing, or Core I processors initial phases. But right now we are talking about a 12th gen processors with the capability of terabytes of the memory itself, and gigabyte and petabyte of storages we are talking about. So the time passes, the technology evolution and enhancement happen. So keeping that up is again a challenge. First things comes with the investment from the organization side. You cannot change the infrastructure every 6 months or every year. You cannot keep them up to date. At least the industry standard life cycle goes to 3 years to 5 years. That's the one. 2 comes with the patching of the systems and providing updates to them. If we talk about an infrastructure independently, I forgot the software and the applications, you need to provide updates to their firmwares, right? Firmware, if not getting updated, it will lead to any of the vulnerability in the environment. Then that leads to your cybersecurity threat management landscape for the organization. Again, when you are talking about the cyber threat landscape, then your regulatory compliances and regulatory privacy, data privacy norms that also get impacted because of that. So you need to keep up with them. Then you need to understand what kind of systems are there in your environment. Do you have any legacy systems in place? If yes, then you might need to isolate them to do the functionality, or you need to upgrade those applications into the new modern environment. Otherwise, again, they will again lead up to the holes into your security postures of the organization. Now, if we talk about again the security postures, security things, human again comes as a part of your organization, right? And industry says that human is the right biggest point where error happens, or because of which we security got compromises. It is not just the human, it is the configurations of the systems which we have it. If we are not doing good configuration of the systems, then also it will lead into the same situation. But why I am focusing on the human is, human are intellectuals, adaptive. So if you train them well, if you guide them well, if you can help them to identify what is the risk, what is not the risk, then the insider threats, which we call it as an misleading links that got clicked by any of the user, can be avoided and can be safeguarded. Now, again, if we go further more on that, the balancing between the security and the performance that business user needed. So coping up that, you can think of, if you're using 5 years or 6 year old infrastructure systems and you are using the current dated applications, then the performance will not cope up, right? It will give you the lags. So you need to upgrade your systems, you need to upgrade the security postures to provide the optimal performance to the business users. Then it comes to the continuity and the business disaster management as well. So you can say BCPDR, you need to update them up. If you're updating your core platform, you need to upgrade to your backup platform as well. So there are huge challenge for all the industry leaders. Now, if we talk about the innovations, then you need to introduce the cultures inside your team members to implement awareness, to go little out of the way to understand what is the best practices of the security that you can implement it. Security from the beginning, right? As a key that you can say, okay, I'm developing something or I'm introducing new processors, how we can introduce secure processes, secure development. Those kind of innovation is the key to ensure that we are doing innovation, we are introducing new things, but we are keeping security also at top priority. So I drop my line on this is, implement any new technology with a tag of security by design. If you are adopting any new tools or technologies, ensure those are coming from a trusted vendors who has provided you the complete security details related to that, threat landscape to that, ETs, or you can say the certification related to the security of that particular device or application, that yes, this application or the device is trustworthy.
So actually, I liked it on the innovation aspect and how organizations need to be technical and in terms of adopting and also relying on the right sources. So, in your opinion, what are the top trends in IT and infosec industry, and how do you see them impacting the business globally?
Okay, so this is if I talk to you on the current running trend, or let's say for past 1 year, and we are expecting them to happen for continuous for some more time. So cloud computing and hybrid cloud solutions is the one that people are looking for. People has started cloud journey for past 5 years, but still continued. We can see that 20 to 30% is the actual adoption that has happens, but still on the growth towards 50% of the you can say complete industry trends, right? So challenges comes is when you're moving your applications to cloud. Again, it comes to certain challenges, whether your application is going to be compatible with those cloud resources, cloud infrastructure, their baseline technology stack that they have it in or not. So those challenges comes in along with security by default comes in. I'm not going to focus on that more, but I can say the technology stack and infrastructure stack, that is the core thing that you need to consider and think of, along with the costing that you are going to incur on month basis. So before you start moving to the cloud, you need to think of what application it is, what is the purpose of that application, what are the resources that are required in the cloud, how we are going to use in cloud, what is the best infrastructure or a platform or an application to be selected for those kind of application which we are going to host it there. One. Two, it is again, I can say trend about very big boom is happening across AI ML, and ChatGPT is the latest example of that, and that is going to be run across. So you should use AI ML in such a way that not just for the sake of using AI ML just for the industry to provide, hey, we are ML kind of a thing, but utilize AI ML for analytics. Your big data analytics and providing you the holistic information in terms of your senior management dashboards thing or reporting or giving you better insights of your business in real-time environment. Because if you see there is a huge among us data is there on the cloud or on-prem environment, that real-time analytics is not possible without AI kind of activity. You need to devote some of the time of your team. You need to put some effort to build such kind of an insight and give to the management. And it takes time. But with the help of AI, you can evolve it and you can reduce the time frame and make it almost real time so that your business can take a decision based on the data that is actually in and go towards the growth of the organization. Third trend, if I talk about, is IoT. Nowadays we are seeing the electronic vehicles. Those vehicles are connected ones, either scooters or cars, electric cars, or even in the organizations, whatever manufacturing industries are having, they are having IoT devices. Those devices are also giving you a lot of data. Those are providing you health of the system. Those are providing you location of the systems. So IoT security is one of the challenges because it is not as same as your normal IT environment. It does not function that way. If you are having some downtime, some challenges in your normal IT environment, you can still sustain. But if something happened to your IoT environment, then your business completely impacted. So we as an organizations or anybody who is in these sectors should take care of IoT device security and see whatever the data is coming up, if they can pull it into the AI systems or ML systems, they can give a remote management, they can give a remote insights, they can take the health systems. And good example of that is in the healthcare. They are the hand watch devices, which takes care of your health status data. Doctor remotely monitoring is how's the health of the patient and all. In manufacturing, you can see what is the health of your plant as of now, how proactively you can do the maintenance and other stuff. Now, other things is coming as an edge computing. Edge computing is coming as in, you can say, new kind of infrastructure setup where you are bringing your outside data near to your on-prem environment to process it faster, to provide better insights, to have better data control, right? To make them processing it faster. So that is the ultimate goal so that you can take better decisions. So it can be coupled with your AI ML again for data processing or your cloud computing edge devices to collaborate with your on-prem data centers. Remote work, and again, to have the remote work safe and secure without impact on the enterprise infrastructures or the applications. That's a core thing, to have the security also in place. So this trend has started since 2020, as we all know, because of the pandemic, and it is still going to continue. So we need to think of if people are working from remote as well as working from office. So we need to ensure that security is not being compromised. Data is not compromised. We are protected. Either we are within an office environment or outside office. So there are certain things that you can think of, like zero trust network. You can think of VPN. You can think of your least privileges access kind of environment and need to know basis kind of a thing to ensure that remote environment is still there, efficient, proactive, and productive to the organization, and secure as well. But if you see that the trend which is increasing, it is leading to a gap in the skills also. So cybersecurity skills, if we talk about in today's time, is one of the biggest challenge, because we are having low strength in the cybersecurity profession, but demand is quite high. So it is also necessary if some organizations are not having the cybersecurity skills, they can partner with somebody to ensure that they are safe and secure, rather than they got victim to somebody's kind of motivation factors. And again, because of cybersecurity is the key, now we are having impact because of any data breach or any security breach that happens. Penalties are there, governance are there against around it. So new trend has come up for cybersecurity insurance, so that the liability can be transferred from organization to the insurance agencies. So that is also coming up as a latest trend, and it will be in the boom in coming time frame because the rate cyber threat attacks are increasing. Cybersecurity is one of the key. But to achieve that up, you need to enforce your compliances and the securities at the best at your organization level.
As organizations or industry in general is adopting so much of technological advancement, and cybersecurity, as you guys mentioned, is one of the biggest challenges. And in terms of businesses, it's a critical concern to have a secure database from them. So, could you share some of the best practices and framework to safeguard this sensitive data and systems?
Okay, thanks for asking this question, because this is the hot topic nowadays everywhere, even in every organization, even yours or mine or anybody else. So certainly cybersecurity best practices frameworks are essential to safeguarding your sensitive data, right? And the systems and their infrastructure. I can say the cybersecurity framework are pretty much given and at a vast level, or you can say a very high level and in-depth level, in majorly three concepts. One is we are having ISO 27000 series of our frameworks and the standards, which is specifically for data security, information security, and data privacy. NIST framework, which is from US to provide the basic holistic framework around it, which is equivalent again to ISO standards. Then we are having CIS Society also to providing these kind of a framework and best practices. So if you follow these, any one of them can guide you or help your organization to do or design a basic framework for securities, right? So it majorly contains 5 core components, and which is required by any of the organization, which is first to identify the threats, then how you're going to detect them up in the real-time environment, how you are going to protect yourself against those threats, how you are going to respond against those threats, and how you are going to recover if something mishap happens. So these are the few things that you can consider while you are designing your framework. But if you are talking about the best practices that has to happen across the organization, I can suggest we call it as multi-layer approach for security, which security professionals call in a term just like depth in defense, right? Or defense in depth, whatever way you want to take it up. But it is the multi-layer approach of the security. In that, what happens is you guard your edge environment, which is at the network level. Then you guard your network and the servers. Then you guard your endpoint. So at multi-level, you need to provide the security. On edge, you can put UTM devices and firewalls and so on. At network level, you provide the network monitoring and your patch management systems or SAM or SOAR environment. And at endpoint, you can use it as endpoint security tools, which is your AVs or EDR, XDR kind of a thing. Then if we talk about, apart from these basic things, then you can go for security risk assessment on regular basis of your complete holistic infrastructure across your organizations to understand what are the vulnerabilities available or what are the risks that is associated to with respect to network, with respect to your servers, storages, networks, applications, or databases, so that you can first understand what are the assets that you have it in your organization, and those assets can be mapped against their vulnerabilities, or you can say the patch which is being lacked, which is not being installed, or which is not being deployed. So if you do that sanity check and deploy the patches, it helps you to protect your organization. Then after that, this is at a network or IT level. Now you can go for configuration part of each devices. Whenever you are deploying any application or any device in your network or in your organization environment, you should ensure that application and devices are configured for best securely manner. Like you should not use default passwords, and it should not be retained if it is from the third party. You should use tokenization kind of authentication rather than simple user ID password. You should use multi-factor authentication on access controls and all those things. And you should do all those sanity checks With the help of your red teaming, or if your organization does not have red teaming, you can partner with third party and ask them to do a VAPT test on the same devices before deploying, so that you can understand what is the gap there is and how you can mitigate them. Last but not the least, I can say, make your employees aware about cybersecurity. Again, as we were discussing about on the first or second question, how that human is being treated as an kind of a thing, that he is the only one who made the mistakes and everything goes wrong. So similarly, make them aware, make them trained, and let them understand what is the consequences happening across organizations or within country and outside country as well, so that they can correlate those incident and events. If something is happening with them or about to happen with them, they're aware about it and they can protect it, right? And then you can say regular backups is one of the key. If something goes wrong and some breach happens, so you should be ready with good backups to restore it quickly. You cannot afford your business loss, right? You cannot afford 1 day down, 2 days down, or 3 days down kind of a thing on business environment. However, you can think of a user is not working for a day, understand, but business cannot stop. So you should have a proper regular backup system in place. Disaster recovery plan, you should have it so that you can test those backups to restore it, how much time it is taking. Is it time frame is within our accepted time, or it is taking more time? How it is really getting restored or not? So at least quarterly basis or by the 6-month basis, if we do those kind of a testing, it helps the organizations. Last but not the least, you should have monitoring in place. Monitoring for all the devices, all the users, their behaviors, their working pattern, and their access patterns. If there is something anomaly that is happening, your system should point it out and let you know that from this system or from this user, this is the anomaly that is being detected, so that you can understand whether it is a genuine kind of a thing, false positive that has come up, or there is some problem. You go and immediately can check it out, right? And incident response plan, as we were discussing in the disaster recovery. So let's say if some breach happened, then you should have a team which can respond to that, because you need somebody to coordinate internally with the IT team, somebody need to coordinate with forensic team, somebody need to coordinate with HR and PR team to communicate those messages. These are the things, if we take care of them, that I think we holistically are aligned with the security requirements, frameworks, and best practices.
I think while organizations pointed out the frameworks in order to have a secure data and system in terms of the organizations. So I think in compliance with data privacy regulation is becoming increasingly complex. So how do you say that a company can adhere to relevant regulations and safeguard in different regions? If you can highlight.
That's a critical and the complex thing. And see, I can see that compliance and the data privacy norms is everybody's requirement, because that is a regulated area. It is not something like some guidelines that need to have or no need to have. There is no choice. You have to have it in the organization. So to ensure that we are compliant, we are regulated across it, we should prepare a holistic, comprehensive you can say data assessment across organization. HR, finance, my marketing team, sales team, IT team, and other teams are there, right? Those are having the data. What kind of a data they have? Are these confidential data, or it is just for team sharing data, or it is that data belongs to a public information? So we need to identify and mark that data, that what kind of a data we have it. Once you identify that data environment, then only you can plan properly that what data to be protected at what level, right? You need to grant the access of certain data at certain level. You need to restrict that data for rest of the public. Public data should be available for everybody that way. If we talk about the compliance across regions, then we need to understand the compliance and requirement or data privacy requirement for different reasons, right? India has its own. Europe has something different. US is having something different. UK is having something different. If I talk about Australia, they are having something different. So if you are operating in multi-location environment, then you need to understand what are the critical requirement or critical data policies or regulations they have. Consolidate them all together and define a proper regular policy after consolidation so that it applies across the organization rather than you go for specific policy for a specific location. That's the one thing that we should have. We should have a cross-border data transfer mechanism so that we can understand that data, whenever being transferred from one location to another location, it is safe and secure. It is encrypted. It cannot be accessed by somebody else in the middle, right? So we need to understand that and we need to have the contractual bindings across the organizations with different reasons to define what we are going to share with them, how it is going to be shared, what if something goes wrong in between, and how it is going to be processed. Those. And we should have a regular compliance audits, right? It is not that we implemented technology. It is not that we implement processes. It is not that we implemented policies also. But if we are not looking into that, whether those policies, processes, and technologies are being used rightly or not, then it is of no use. Again, we will be back to square zero, right? So we should conduct regular audits for those compliances for respective reasons. Everybody does not know everything, right? So if we say, okay, we are sitting in India and we know everything about the US or Europe or Australia, it is a myth kind of a thing. So we should include, or we should consult, or we should partner with experts also who are known to in-depth for their respective locations, how that things to be dealt up, how that can be handled, and how it can be mitigated or implemented within the organization. So we should consult with data privacy agencies and experts which they have it in. And then we need to have something, consent kind of thing when we talk about the cross-region data. So whenever we are collecting the data, we should define what data we are collecting, what purpose we are collecting, what will happen for that data, and how it is going to be processed. We should take that kind of a consent from the users or the organizations before collecting it up. And we should be able to provide them the option to modify and change if there is any data belongs to any individual or organization. And also we need to provide and give the provision to them if they need to opt out. They can opt out for such services by defining as an unsubscribed kind of a thing. But we need to let them know if they are unsubscribing and if there is certain need of certain reasons requirement that data to be maintained and retained for certain period of time. It should be notified to those users that, hey buddy, you're unsubscribing, good. We will maintain your data for so-and-so time frame for so-and-so purpose. If anything goes beyond that, your data will be scrapped or discarded. And then you should have somebody dedicatedly within your organization as we call it as data protection officer, DPO, to do these kind of a monitoring across the region, that what other regulatory changes are happening, what is the privacy norms changes are happening, and how that can be incorporated on and on continuous basis within the organization, and how it is going to be coordinated with those experts which are partners with us. So this particular fellow can be a point of contact for them and help organization to do a holistic implementation rather than somebody individually do that. So these are the few things that I think to be taken care of when we are having cross-region kind of environment and take care of data security.
Or ever since, COVID has hit and we have seen that entire world has gone remote, and post-COVID also, we have seen a significant rise in remote work and cloud-based solutions. So how do you suggest that the security of data and operations while allowing the employees to, work flexibly? So how is that being done?
Yeah, it's a day-to-day challenge. And I think first and foremost from my side is, before going for technology, is employee awareness. I'm emphasizing that because we are the key guys. We are working on day-to-day basis. And as you're also working on the system, right? So as an users, we should be aware about what to do, what not to do, what are good things, what are bad things, right? So social engineering, phishing attacks, worms, viruses, right? Malicious sites, those kind of knowledge transitions to employees are important in any organization. So regular basis trainings to their employee is required and it should be ongoing basis. It should not be that one time we have given the training and that's all. So it should be continuous process. Okay. Secondly, once your team or your employees are aware about those social engineering kind of tactics, they can protect themselves when they are getting any kind of a phishing call, phishing attacks, phishing emails kind of. Then implement a zero trust framework model for your applications and infrastructure to provide access outside office. Right? It is something kind of I'm at home. I don't want to use any kind of direct tunnels or VPNs, so that I can, the way I'm connected to internet, I can connect to my enterprise applications. So you can set up that environment, but that environment has to be set up in such a way that it should have least privilege model. I mean, since I'm open to internet and I can have some other, you can say, data or malicious code or something which may impact to my system. So it should be designed in such a way that I should not have the privilege to transfer those kind of data. I should have access to what I am required to supposed to have access to. I should not have access to everything. My rights should be considered in such a way, okay, this application, under this application, this section of the application, I can access to. Secondly, when we are doing this activity, it should monitor the user behavior also. I talked about this earlier as well, but how we are going to detect the anomaly if, let's say, my system got compromised, or I am trying to access from some other system, or I am right now here, I'm not using my corporate machine, I'll end up in Delhi or somewhere else, I'm trying to using my personal device, which is not secure. So those kind of a thing to be monitored and checked, and access to be elevated to request to multi-factor authentication on the same environment by detecting this anomaly to identify this is myself or it is somebody else who is trying to access my environment, right? And then if device is not being trusted and it's not secure, to be blocked and not to be allowed to come to the system. Second, if people can use VPN as well over SSL to have the access to the environment. Again, SSL can also provide you the same level of access if you plan it well. It should not happen that you are connected to the VPN, you have granted access to your complete network portfolio. Should not do that. Based on the user, which user is coming in, what application they are going to access to, there should be security policies in place on network level to identify that user and give the access to that respective application. Multi-factor, I am emphasizing it since beginning, because even if your password got compromised, your MFA comes handy to help you to understand whether it is you or somebody else to re-authenticate yourself. Multi-factor could be in different ways. It could be your fingerprint ID, it could be your mobile device, it could be your PIN or any other things. Now, if we are talking about cloud solutions along with working from home. Then in cloud solutions, how we are going to opt for it, how we are going to provide the access to the public, because in cloud, you are not going to restrict the port. You are having the port open for everybody. How you are going to protect that up? You should have DDoS kind of a protection. You should have firewall policies kind of a thing. We should have WAFs in place to ensure that my applications is behind firewalls. It should be reason-based. You can define zone fencing. You can do that. Those kind of a thing you should opt for. But I will prefer, as far as possible, use SaaS-based platform so that the security headache what you are having can be transferred to the cloud provider. They should take care of the security for you, and you just manage your application access and the data. You should have data loss prevention system also in place, so that whenever there is an activity that is happening which is not authorized to send the data out of somebody else, you can capture and block data. You can monitor what are the data that is being moving within organization, outside to inside, or inside to outside. So those technologies and devices you should have in place so that you ensure your data is protected. Then you can have a few more things like when you are working from remote, endpoint device management with the help of your MDM solutions. You can have application management. Since IT is sitting centrally and you are having distributed team or your IT environment, and what you can do is your person cannot go to the people to deploy some application. Then you can have that mobile application management system which can push the applications to the respective user or respective group of users, so that IT job become ease and end users experience enhances, and he has put a request within next hour he got that application. So he also not wasting anything, he's not getting frustrated, and similarly IT is efficiently driving the management of the infrastructure and the application systems. Then, so nothing rest comes as an part of your monitoring environment and establishing incident response team. You should guide your team if something anomaly is happening or something going wrong. They should be able to inform IT that this kind of thing is happening, so that they can check and provide a feedback to the monitoring system and act on it. So these are the basic things that somebody can opt for it. Yeah.
So as you were mentioning a while ago on the emerging technologies that we have in AI or blockchain or I that you were mentioning. So what role do you think that these technologies that would play in the future of the IT and business processes, business process service industries?
I can think of AI is the best suited for that industry, and nowadays apart from in-person interaction. So what I have observed and what I experience is that the automation with the help of AI is the one of the things that you can do, implement, and use properly in that business process augmentation. When somebody gives a call to you, you know for what reason it is being called. You can train your bot for that. You can train your AI agent for that. They can respond it. If something is not under their aspects of scope, then it can be escalated to the real time people or real life people, right? Or the persons who can interact in person to the end users. This helps to reduce them and resources. It helps to reduce your number of processes and number of links that goes in or wait time that is going into the queues. But AI also provide the personalized experience. If you see in terms of the banking environment, you are having nowadays a tax code. You just say balance. It gives you the entire balance for your account, right? You say last top 10 statements or top 10 transactions. So you came to know what is happening in the back. So those things are coming with the automation, but AI does provide you the personalization on top of whatever you are doing, either it's on search engine kind of a thing that is there or in terms of the e-commerce industry. While you visit some of the site, you are looking for something, then you will start getting relevant content to you, which is personalized for you. And that comes to the personalization and the ease of the uses of the AI. But AI is it's going to be contribute most of the things in data analytics and business insights, which helps business to understand better what is there then, why we are lacking on that particular area, what is the best area that is we are performing in, what is the moderating, how and what this area is performing better, not this, how we can combine them together to do the business growth. So a lot of organization is having very huge data with them, but data analytics is a challenge which AI can help you to reduce, and you can say a time frame just like real-time kind of environment. And we discussed this earlier as well. And the customer support, which we were talking, proactive response, customized response, and customer delight. Let's say I'm somebody calling me from my name because that has been remembered. Somebody knows my preference, what is my preference, is what I like. If I'm calling and it is that I don't like to go through the voice call sequence, I just want to straightforward talk to somebody. So those kind of things, his personal experience can be incorporated with the help of the AI.
So, as we were talking about like AI also. So AI is one such technology that has emerged, and I think it's going to change a lot of industries. It's going to get a lot of industries that are going to get transformed. So apart from AI, if you can highlight some of the top priorities, for IT in the coming 2 years, why AI is going to play a significant role, and how do they align with the overall strategic goals of the organization?
Okay, any organization, if I see, first things comes with the customer experience, and that is ongoing process, and everybody is looking into it for decades, and it will continue for coming few more decades. Because customer experience define your business delivery, define your business performance, define your business growth. That's the one. And AI, again, AI is not going to anywhere, right? So since we are saying that AI is, some positives are there, some negatives are there, definitely depends on the persona of the people, how they are going to use AI for their environment, right? But that is still is going to be there. Then I can say that cybersecurity was there for past 5 years. It has been enhanced and it has grown too much. And as AI is growing, cybersecurity also grow along with it, because the more sophistication you will get it, the more challenges environment you are going to have it in, and the more complexity you are going to have to defend yourself against those kind of threats. So as AI grows, your security challenge and cybersecurity challenges will also grow, and that is going to impact your entire business segment and the environment if you are not taking care of the proper care of it. Along with it, I can say again data analytics, because nowadays we are talking about data-driven business decisions. When we are talking about the data-driven business decisions, so we need to analyze the data. We should get insights out of those data. We analyze and give you the graphs. Doesn't make any sense until unless I am able to drill down inside it and check it out what insight it is providing me with respect to my business. So analytics and the insight of that analytics is again one of the key. And all those 3-4 elements, whatever I have talked about, is going to be complemented by AI. Because the time we are talking about, AI is something which can work augmentally without tiredness, without any resistance on a huge data restlessly. And if we talk about, if I give you a few gigabyte or terabyte of raw data and ask you to do some business analytics on it, it is very hard. Even for me, it is going to be hard because I need to write complex algorithm to pull that up. However, AI is built in with those kind of algorithm, and it is handy to provide us those kind of information quickly and nearly real time. So this is what I think about going to be trend for next 2 years.
Thank you so much for sharing such insightful knowledge from the industry. So we look forward to more such interactions. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge for our CXOTV audience. Thank you once again.
Thank you. And thanks for CXO team to invite me for those such kind of a fireside kind of incident that's there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.